Okay. Granted, my brain is fried, so I'm going to forget some things. So here's what we need to do in this session. Well, first of all, is there any questions about the NCSC process, about the competition, about how it works?
How does it work?
We'll go down Friday night, and Saturday morning, every contestant will make a 20-minute presentation in leagues. A league is 8 people. And those 8 people will make a presentation in a soundproof room just like this one. And the judges will be watching just like we watched. And they'll grade every presentation. And you're seeded by how successful your university has been in the past. So if they've been really successful, you get a later seed. If you're a new entrant, you present at the beginning, which is which hurts us because we haven't done well. So that means you've got to be extra good when you make your presentation if you're number 1 or number 2, because as they start to grade, then all the judges know that the better schools present later. So you have to be really good at the beginning. You have to really strut your stuff. And it's very possible, and it happens all the time, but you just have to know that. Okay. So then the first morning, all these presentations are made, and of the 8, the top 2 go to the next day to make their presentations.
On Sunday.
On Sunday. And then everyone else who hasn't won goes into the wild card round, which is in the afternoon. And then you'll have 7 or 8 in the wild card round, and they'll take the best one of those to the next day. Then there's a competition on Sunday morning, and there's a winner. And there's a competition in the afternoon, right? And there are another segment of winners. And then there are 4 out of that one, and the 4 people then go to Monday. And Monday morning, the 4 compete for 1, 2, 3, and 4. Questions?
How do new schools get seeded?
At the bottom.
At the bottom, meaning they would go first.
Exactly. Now, last year we went, I think, 2nd and 3rd because we weren't brand new. And I suspect that's what will happen to us this year. But it may not. We may be first out of the chute. That's it. Just what you have to do. That's the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of March. Now, then you all understand the nature of the competition because we mimic it in here. Now what's going to be, logistics. We're going to go down Friday. We'll all go in the same van except for Chase, because Chase has to work. He's getting off, he'll leave about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock here and go down and be there first thing in the morning. When you're not presenting, you'll be available. You can't watch them present. They don't allow that.
So does the 6 other competitors watch the previous?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, you can't. All people present. The first 8 present, and then the judges score them one at a time. They collect all the ballots, they add them up, and then in the expo they have video cameras, and they show who won. And there will be 40 or 50 companies who will be there with tables and tabletops, all talking to students about going to work for them.
You have 2 presenters, so will there be 1 presenter in 2 separate groups?
Exactly. Yep.
And you said 20 minutes per.
Mm-hmm. They all start at the same time. They say go, and then they'll open the door. just like we do it. When they open the door, it starts, and then you're on, and the video camera's on you. If your presentation takes you 18 minutes and you're not finished, it's okay, but you have to act professionally. There have been students who've lost because they say, oh man, am I glad that's done, blah, 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 not realizing that all the judges are watching them. So you have to have a nice professional conversation. You have to say, boy, thanks very much for being a buyer. You know, tell me a little bit about your company. You have a professional conversation. What else?
So what if you go over? Like,
when the
is
door
there a
opens, it's
timer?
done. Oh yeah, they're 20 minutes.
Oh, somebody opened the door and let you know that it's 20 minutes.
It's done.
So you can finish early, but not.
If you don't ask for the order, you're out. You can have a great presentation, and if you don't ask for it, because that's the last step, you're out. Your score will go down, and you won't get to the next day. So you have to ask for the order. You have to go all the way through, ask for the order, and then when objections come out, you can handle objections all day long and twice on Sunday. But you're going to have to ask for the order, and we'll make sure that that gets in the presentation. You can ask for the order after 10 minutes.
Props, tools, what can you take into the room with you?
There are some cheesy things that students do. They bring in little puzzles and things that are cheesy. I think what we ought to do is we should arm you with an iPad or some tablet so that you can involve that in your presentation. That's the most professional way to do it. Do you have one?
I don't, but my roommate does.
Well, we've got to get access to them. And so if it's, I haven't checked to try to find you one, but we've got to find, you know, it doesn't have to be an iPad, it just needs to be a tablet that the ADP app runs on.
Last year's champion, I watched her video, she had a tablet and she was using it to show the product, and she also involved her buyers she was like, okay, just go ahead and touch log in and blah blah blah. So I think we should do that because ADP does have a Run Pro, a mobile that shows all the services that they provide, and so I think we should use that too.
The app is how a business owner actually fills out the payroll.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can do that.
Absolutely. I agree. We talked about that yesterday. So we got to, if you can borrow hers, then we just got to get one for you. So we got to work on it. I contacted Lori Sullivan, who is the recruiter for Kentucky and Louisville, and I know her, and I sent you that email. And she's agreed to help us in any way, and it's legal, she can help us. So we're going to get an ADP rep up from Nashville, or the one that covers Bowling Green, and get them together and help and talk to him about how, or her about how they sell the product. What we have to do in advance, I went through the first 3 modules last night. They have an avatar, not a real person, which is kind of weird. There's an avatar that walks you through the module. So make sure you go through all the modules as soon as you can. And there is a way, I haven't figured it out yet, to give you a user ID and password on the app for a student application. So that's already built into the process. So I don't know where that is, but I'll get that for you. What else?
And if you guys have gone through this, just tell me, how do you break down the 4 that are supporting and helping? How do you break that down?
Well, I thought what we need, the other 4 are going to provide 4 roles for both. One, at least one, is going to be the expert on ADP. And as it turns out, Chase runs the payroll for Cheddar's on ADP.
Okay. And
you work the payroll. That's perfect for your company. So you're going to have to come up on ADP in terms of understanding how the payroll process works.
Right.
And I would say the easiest way to do that is to get you guys together and fill your brain with what's in her brain. Okay? Soon.
So you've got an ADP
Okay.
expert.
Then you gotta have an expert on the selling process. And it's very detailed. It's like a slalom race. So we need someone where the C is a little high. Your C's low. C, Chase is low, and we've got, oh, Whitney. Well, we'll talk about the roles. That's one. You have to have a role for understanding the prospect. To know everything about the prospect and to know about the fitness arena, because you're gonna have to study, you're gonna have to visit someone here who has a payroll processing, who processes, hopefully with ADP, or one that doesn't and one that does, so you can understand the needs that they have, because that's what you're gonna be fishing for.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, because at Dillard's, there's this one lady that does all the human resources and all the payroll and all that. I was gonna interview her, ask her what she would like to have, I guess.
Well, a better application would be to set you up with someone like Lynn Olson and his wife Julie own the Bowling Green Fitness, what's it called, BG.
BAC.
Yeah, they own that. I know them real well. And so, here I'm giving myself assignments I gotta write down. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So I've got to get user ID. To Lynn or Julie Olson. Okay. And then I'm gonna get Lori to get us a salesperson. So the role is to understand the prospect, know ADP, know their process, and the last one, I've made that in the past an improvement, someone to watch the presentations, but I think there's gotta be a deeper role. What else do we need? What else do we need, Gary? The process, it's I'm missing something.
Well, what I've heard so far, maybe just stating this will help see what we're missing, is someone responsible for content.
Right.
Someone responsible for expertise in the selling process all the way through. And then you said something about venue, which I assume means learning the needs, so understanding the customer needs.
There's a prospect profile, which identifies the company who is, it's a company that runs an it's a workout firm. And each buyer will assume that role.
Okay.
Also, I told Blair this yesterday, the buyers, their compliance with the profile varies. If they're high Ds, they'll just make up stuff. So if they make up stuff that's way outside, you can't say, yeah, but that's not right. stay right in and go with the flow.
That's an interesting perspective.
Oh, yeah, it's convoluted. And it'll screw you up if you're not ready for it.
So the person, to see if I understand, the person you will be selling to is an owner or manager of an athletic?
No.
Say that.
The buyer is the hypothetical buyer, and then the people who are actually there are the head of sales for Tom James, a salesperson. For instance, the sponsoring firms get to put their people in as buyers.
Okay, but those buyers, what is the role they're playing?
They're playing the owner of a firm that has an athletic firm, a training facility.
Okay. So where in this do you better understand the needs of the training facility? Where is that in what we've discussed?
That's with the profile, understanding who the customer is.
The needs, all right, the profile, the needs, okay. Because that part's gonna be critical.
Mhm.
Alright, since they're gonna be like throwing odds and ends and curveballs and stuff, is it really like the best idea to get every information we can on the prospect?
Well, this is a mythical prospect. There are 2 pages that describe the prospect. So you don't know any more than that 2 pages, but what you have to think through is, what are the needs of a company that's in this business? How do they relate to their customers? How do the employees work? You gotta figure out, are some part-time, some full-time, are some contractors, because all that
What's their
works.
turnover?
What's the turnover into the payroll processing process? So we've got to find somebody who processes payroll for an athletic facility.
Can your BAC,
Yeah.
that's where they can help them.
Exactly. Or they'll know somebody, or if that doesn't work, we can go to one of the CPAs. I can find somebody who processes payroll.
Well, the combination of a CPA, the people who own that club that you know, and the rep who's coming in, who may have called on multitude of different companies, he may, I think one of the things that will be critical is to get that rep, when we're talking to him, to summarize what are the 5 or 6 consistent objectives that he has to overcome, regardless of the end user he's trying to sell. And that'll help us if we get those down.
Some of that material is already in the material that they've published.
Okay.
So everybody knows that. The trick, or the essence of this competition, is for you to know the product so well that when the buyer says, oh yeah, we have some Mexicans, you know, click, click, click. Oh, if transient labor is an issue, then to what extent is that an issue? Yeah, oh, it's a huge issue for us now. You know, they take care of the yard and they do this. And we just don't know how to do it. Click, click, okay, that's what ADP will solve. You put that in your bullet, you got one. You find another one, you got it. You find another one, you got it, and you say. So what I heard you say, Mr. Smith, is you need to take care of transients, you need to take care of part-time people, and when the reporting time comes, you don't spend all day Saturday and all day Sunday, you can do it you like to do it in about an hour. Yes, that's what I want. You've gone through the spin process, you do your SNB, then you go, you say ADP does this and this and this, that will help you do that. It does this and this and this that solves this problem. It does this and this and this and it solves that problem. Is there any reason we shouldn't move forward?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are we focusing on the payroll services because ADP offers more than?
Now, I haven't gone as deeply. Have you detected anything that would suggest that you would be offering anything other than payroll processing?
No,
I
not
mean,
really, no.
They
it's-
do other things.
Right, but in all the videos they make you watch, it's all about payroll,
Yeah,
so.
it's about payroll.
Okay.
It's not about 401k programs or other things.
Right.
I did hear them mention that there are some ancillary services that they provide, but that's a,
Good question for the rep.
Well, here's a list of services
And that come off of the regular ADP site?
Right.
Yeah, I don't think this is germane. It's
Okay.
better for you to study, I sent you the link to the professors. Yeah, that gives you a good start on the information that you'll need. So start there.
Okay. Also, name cards.
Business card.
Should we get our own? I'm assuming.
Yes, it's professional for this to have your own business cards. And let me check to see if we have I think I can get a little budget for business cards. Especially if you go through print.
Site.
Scythe. Oh, Scythe still runs Print Center?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. Are you still on Scythe? Okay.
I was never
Okay.
sure of that.
Are they going to be specific for this particular exercise?
No, just be a student at Western Kentucky University. It's just a little, with a resume and a business card.
Okay.
You know, last year champion, like when she first walked in, when she handed out the card, I'm assuming that it was with the company that she was selling.
No, it looked like that,
Okay.
but it wasn't.
Because like later
was
on,
NetSuite.
after the interview, because she still had time, she handed out, she was like, here's my real name card, so you guys know who I actually am. That's what she said, so.
Oh, she was selling herself then.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
But her first card, you're saying, may have been such and such from ADP.
Right, made, I don't know.
I doubt it. I think it was just kind of a,
Just an
that's
act.
what yeah, it's an act. Yeah. But if you use your own card, that would be entirely appropriate. So the roles. So we've got one person left. I think what we want to do I'm a little concerned about Chase because he's working 40, 50 hours a week. And I'm concerned, even though he's all in on this, whether he's going to be as available. So,
And he's your content guy.
exactly. So I want to keep him on content, but I think we ought to have, now see, Gary's got the right idea, and that is, of content and the buyer, really understanding who the customer is really going to be important. Why don't you take that?
Okay.
And then I'll set you up with, we'll go out and have a conversation about payroll processing with athletic firms,
Okay.
and why don't you tackle that one?
So no one in the company.
Yeah, knowing who the buyer is, who the company to whom we're selling.
If you have Erica on the needs and you have Chase on the content, Whitney or Chris for the selling process?
We've got selling process, and we've got,
Well, we also talked about watching the videos for improvement. And we can all do that, I assume.
that's largely our role,
Yeah.
is improvement. So why don't you do the sales process? Okay? And the sales process is, when you're practicing, you've got the judging sheet, and you're raising your C as high as you can. They've got to go through every gate.
Okay.
And first of all, it's helpful to watch, have the piece of paper, it's up there on the website, and listen to one of the presentations and watch. Okay, she did that, she did that, she did that, aha, she followed the process all the way down. For instance, one of the parts you have to say, other than you, in addition to you, is there anyone else who would be involved in the decision making? You've got to qualify. If you don't do that, out. And you've got to have some prop, and you have to have camaraderie at the beginning. You have to have a professional introduction. So,
Who is responsible for putting the actual presentation together? Is that the two of you independent of each other? Do you do it together? How have you done it?
The way we do it is they do as much work as they can together, and then they give their first presentation. Frankly, you use snimwku.com, you work through as much as you can there, and develop your presentation, and then practice it. Have you seen that? Oh, it's a wizard that walks you through the steps of identifying needs and benefits, and then largely what problems will the buyers have buying your solution, and then you work out answers to all of the possible objections. And that's something, Whitney,
Yeah, because we don't have a role yet for Whitney.
that's it. She'll be in charge of completing the SNP. That's perfect. Yeah. Because that just that's head down work. And we've got to get all the possible objections on there and then feed you guys with the answers about how to dip into ADP. When you can do that, and I'll tell you, some universities have a class in the NCSC. They spend all semester working on it. That would have been last semester. Yeah, Houston, didn't Houston win both of them last year?
I can't remember. I know Florida was in one.
Yeah, Florida State and Houston, and they just,
The one I watched was Houston.
so.
So when we make our first presentation, are we trying to sell to like one of you guys in the room?
Yes.
In this.
Well,
room?
you don't have to be your first one. You guys are going to work together on this.
Mm-hmm.
So my sense is we probably identify a time, and you're going to go on vacation here really short.
Mhm.
So we're going to get together and probably have a walkthrough. Let's talk about the presentation. And it's probably going to take us, today is Wednesday, so probably no reason we can't get together again next Wednesday. Now, is this an okay time? Somebody,
I have a meeting at 4:30, but I mean, we were out in 30 minutes, so I may just be like 5-10 minutes late. Just
Okay.
depends how long it goes.
Okay.
So,
I don't
which is
want you
great,
to
it's
get
just
a
right
ticket.
here.
Right away.
Yeah,
oh yeah, what?
I've got 3 minutes.
Well, why don't you go feed it?
Okay.
Because we need to look at our calendar next.
Okay.
Sorry.
Could you not get it to take your card?
Mm-mm. I had to
You
borrow
need-
four.
you
Any
need
more
change? Here, I've got change.
I think I put all my quarters in.
Yeah.
The gold meters of it.
Do you mind checking mine? by
Yeah,
any
sure.
chance?
Right next to me. Yeah. I'll put it back.
Don't worry about it. Does it only take quarters?
No, anything
No?
besides pennies.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
thought
used
it
to-
was
I-
just for.
Mm-mm. Yeah, this will work.
Thank you so much.
No problem. I'll be back.
Oh, when I was watching the video from last year at least, they tried to throw in some stuff like one of the guys would be looking on his phone, even answer the phone in the meeting just to see how she would react.
Exactly.
So I'm assuming they're gonna do something like that again.
They will, and I don't think either one of you are gonna have a problem. You a little bit more.
Oh.
Well, just because you're very systematic and you want things to go exactly the right way, and someone could throw you a curve that might cause you to,
But if I'm expecting it, then
yeah, we'll practice some of that stuff too. And did you see the one competition where the fella showed up and he had big sunglasses on?
No. Do you remember his name?
Oh, it was in the finals.
Okay.
so he's one of the four.
Yeah,
He's the only guy.
he was the buyer. He was the buyer.
Oh.
So they show up, the fellow said, I'm real sorry, but yesterday I got hit with a strong light. And he said, my vision is temporarily gone. I can hear just fine, but I still want to hear what you have to say. I just can't see anything.
So you have videos, you have to think about that and like how you're
Oh,
gonna put
yeah,
on
you
that.
can't
That's a
show
huge
it.
thing, yeah. I mean, cause you can hear it, but a lot of things are, you need to see it in a presentation, yeah.
And avoid the temptation to start.
So you can avoid taking off if you make faces out.
Okay.
Always remember they're recording you, right?
And the other thing is that for the first round, it's the fitness firm. But the second round and the third round are definitely going to be different buyers.
Mhm.
So once you get by the first one, then we go to work that night. And we got to get everybody ready, and so that's.
So is it the same buyer for everybody the first round
Mhm.
and same script for them?
Mhm.
Although as I said, I'm gonna be out of the country for a couple of weeks, but then back at board meetings and things. But if there's stuff that you wanna shoot me online that I can look at, be happy and give feedback. The one thing I think would be important to emphasize is March the 1st seems like a long time from now, but it's not.
Mhm.
And the faster you guys get fully immersed in what you need to do, the more time you're going to have to go back over it and review it and make it become second nature. And if I could encourage anything, it would be sooner instead of later. And trust me, you'll never run out of stuff to do, you'll just run out of time. But the earlier you get it, the better off you are. But then you can refine it as opposed to trying to remember all this stuff.
Okay.
Is it possible that we meet twice a week instead of like Wednesdays every week?
I don't think there's any reason we can't. I would say for you guys, you ought to be meeting on a regular basis. You ought to be presenting and buying over and over and over and critiquing each other. Or even bringing in someone else to be, your buyer and let the other person watch. Even if it's if it's a student that has a business that can understand payroll processing, that has a need to do that. And it would be actually pretty easy to set up some actual salespeople. And some of my friends, Tommy Adams would do it in a heartbeat, to come in and be a buyer. And is that a profitable use of our time?
I think once in my opinion, I think it would be later on, like once we're all fully 100% comfortable with our roles and we've practiced it all together a couple times. I think 100%, because it's a different perspective, because it's sort of like, you get up and you beat it with a bush almost. So I think that would be really helpful. It becomes second nature to us almost.
And there are some small athletic companies here, and I'd be willing to bet you that the person that owns it or rents it, if we asked them, would they be a buyer to help us in the competition, they'd probably say yeah.
Everybody wants to help.
Well,
Talk about their company.
Yep. So there's no reason we can't do that too. That would be a really good use of our time. If we did an insurance company, it would be okay, like a first one. But then the closer we are to talking to people who are really in this business, the better. Okay. So it seems to me one of the things that two you guys really have to come up to speed quickly is on ADP. And have you gone through now all the modules?
No, I just have like 2 or 3 videos left, but almost.
Okay. Go on to the professor's website and start going through the videos.
Okay, I've watched one
Yep.
today.
Good. And then I will get you the user IDs, and let me, what would be really good is if we can get the ADP person here for next week. Now, if we can do that, what days are possible for you guys? If we did it like at this time?
I can't do it at all on Tuesdays, but other than that, I can make it work.
Okay?
Same.
I haven't
Is that
gone by
Tuesdays?
work schedule. But
Hmm.
just go ahead and plan and I'll find someone to switch out the shift.
Okay, and that's no
If
problem?
I do, right. Shouldn't be a problem, but
Okay.
schedule should be up anytime this week, so.
Not Tuesdays.
Where do you work?
Dillard.
And then next week, if we meet
And-
at 5, I'll probably need 5:15. Because
That's fine.
I have a Greek week meeting and we're doing themes and I'll probably want to talk.
Okay. I think what we ought to do is see if we can get someone from ADP. And I think it's reasonable. It'll be the end of their workday, and so,
We could even go to them.
exactly, exactly. Okay, Blair?
I make the schedule at work, so as long as I know what it is, I can get off.
Great.
Yeah.
Where do you work?
Crazy 8, it's children's clothing.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm the manager, so.
Oh, cool. Okay. So let's target next Monday or Wednesday or Thursday, okay? For our next meeting. And our goals are, you guys are gonna come up to speed on ADP as much as possible. You're gonna do the process. So that means you're gonna watch several presentations so you know the process backwards and forwards. And you're gonna focus on the,
ADP too.
and ADP.
Yeah, I'll be doing the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, fine, really know the company backwards and forwards.
All right.
Can I have everyone's contact information, please?
Absolutely not.
I will,
Would you
I'll
have-
take the responsibility of sending that out to everybody.
Do you have all of our, you have my.
I don't have your cell phones.
Okay, 859-797.
So, 797.
4476, that's my cell.
Okay, and yours is,
270-303-3860.
okay. Do I have yours? I have yours?
Yep.
Okay. All right, and you're gonna be here until
Friday.
Friday, okay? And then gone for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Well, Gary's gonna be really helpful when we get to the second day, because, and this year,
Take care.
yeah,
Bye.
I feel really good about the two of you guys. I just went through, I got the MEFers together on profiles, and we went all the way through both you guys. And you are wired. Completely, you're different, but I picked the right people. In past years, I tended to pick people, students who would look good to the people who were hiring. And they simply didn't make good presentations, and they didn't listen well, and that's what hurt them. They got hired, we didn't do very well. This year, you guys are gonna do well.
Let's do it.
Yep. So we're gonna need the help the night before in ginning up how we're going to create a strategy for the following day. We'll do it. Thank you,
Oh, of course.
thank you, thank you.
If they're both doing
And what-
ADP, then who's doing the client? Or the
That's Whitney.
prospect? I thought Whitney was doing SNP.
She is.
Oops. No, we said,
Whitney, Whitney doing, completing the SNP. Content was Chris. Let's see, oh no, excuse me, selling process was Chris. Chase was doing content. And then the needs, profiling the needs was Erica.
well, the needs are a part of who the buyer is, who the
Right.
customer is.
Right.
And we have that for Chase? No.
No,
Chase was
Yes,
ADP.
content.
Chase was ADP content.
And so, and you're doing ADP.
Mhm.
You're doing the needs assessment.
Right,
Okay.
right,
Right.
right. Profile, you were profiling the end user, which would be the athletic club or whatever it is, to understand their needs, right?
Mhm.
So when can me and you get together?
Whenever you want,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I make the schedule, so as long as we have it planned out.
Do you have anything doing tomorrow?
Is that Thursday? No, tomorrow's my day off, so. I get out of class
Anytime.
at 2, so anytime after 2.
Okay, I have a class till like 2 something.
Okay.
But you can help Erica with the BAC folks. right?
Absolutely.
Because that'd be a good place to start, I would think.
Yeah.
Because they use ADP, you said?
I don't
Do you
know,
Okay.
but they have a big operation.
Yeah,
They got 2 stores.
Yeah, and understanding their needs would be great.
And that's whether they use ADP or not.
Just text me.
What might be
Yeah.
interesting is if you could hook up the BAC folks and the ADP rep and sit down with the two of them, and maybe the rep could sell them the process and
Yeah,
understand their needs while they're going through it.
that's a great idea.
Well, I've
And
got,
I'll just sit there and watch them and observe.
oh, we'll
Yeah.
tape it, videotape
Yeah,
it.
videotape it and write down all
Yeah.
the stuff that you come up with.
Yep,
It's a good idea.
yep.
And if we can, of course, if we can talk to a couple of other end users outside of the AC or something, what we might be able to do.
This is 49 and less, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, this is what the app is made for.
Right.
49 employees or less.
Okay, we can go to some small businesses or through contacts or whatever and find out. And maybe the rep can tell us, I'm sure he should be able to, how many of those needs that you uncover transfer to, are they the same across end users regardless
Mhm.
who they are?
Mhm.
And how many are unique to the athletic clubs in terms of turnover or whatever it is? Because understanding that will help you for day 2 as well, big time.
One of the big benefits is that everything's on the cloud. So there's no different processors, it's all one system. So when you have a system that someone comes to work and they punch in, my sense is it's ADP system and it's punched in on the cloud. So that information goes right down and so they streamline lots of the problems that companies have. Because payroll processing day for a lot of companies is horror. Because they have to check it, we read it. Check it and do this, and it really is a horror.
How many employees do you have at your store?
7.
Hmm. Do you use the app?
No.
Okay.
I
Is
mean, I
that-
downloaded it, but I don't, you can do the free demo, but until you get a user ID, you can't do all of it.
Hmm. Okay. What else, guys?
Will you email, I guess, with me and then, because the sooner she can get the SNP, the sooner we can start.
Oh, who's responsible for coming up with the questions to ask?
The questions are a product of how we understand the needs. The questions are gonna come out of the needs. So as you go through the ADP stuff, start writing down things. Because what you'll do is you'll have your notebook, and in the column in your notebook, you'll just have some cheat sheets, just like we did in here. Perfectly fine to have things that, when you get stuck, pause, look down. It happens in sales all the time. You gotta think a little bit. Boom, ask another question. Provide another answer. And the more professional you look, the judges eat it up. Because the judges are salespeople and professors. The professors are looking for academic, like do it the right way. And the salespeople are looking for confidence. Would I buy from that person? So you have to achieve both. What else, guys?
Gotta get the ball rolling.
All right, I'll be back in touch with you. I'll send you all the contact information.
Does every university get to be in the competition?
There are 63. And there were only 48 and they squawked. And they squawked loud enough that the NCSC expanded it.
Oh.
I don't know how they're gonna do it, because they only have a certain number of rooms to make the presentations. What may happen is, instead of 10 people in the room, and make 10 people in the league, or it's 8, it may be 10, maybe 11. That's how they're gonna do it.
You just figured it out.
Because they don't have any more rooms. We use the actual practice rooms that Kennesaw State uses, which
I'm sorry, how many companies are there interviewing or?
40, last count, 43, 44. Also, what I'm gonna do, resumes, gotta get busy on resumes, and I'll take your resumes and your profiles, and I'm gonna send those to the recruiters.
Okay.
I did that last year, and they loved it.
Who are the recruiters?
There are 40 companies. I don't send them to all of them,
Okay.
but the ones where I think we've got a good shot, the highest quality, I'll send them, and then I'll follow it up with a phone call.
I have a rough draft of my resume. Can I send it to you? You should take a look, or should I go to?
I can't do everything. I can't do,
Okay.
I'll look at it,
Okay.
but do a lot of work on your resume, and also buff up your LinkedIn site. Okay, and we talked about this yesterday. On your business card, something very clever is to put a QR code that goes right to your LinkedIn page on the back of your business card. Because ultimately, that's your resume. It's not your paper one. And work on that.
Yeah.
Off we go. Thanks very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, my pleasure. Look forward to working with you.
When are you going to?
I leave,
On vacation?
we leave, we have a 6 o'clock flight Saturday morning out of Nashville. We're going to Cabo
Oh, fun.
for 2 weeks. We go with 4 other couples, so it'll be a fun
That'll
time.
be fun.
It's beautiful down there.
My mom wants to do, because Cabo's one of the, like, 5 she wants to do Christmas away next year. And she's
The
been
whole
looking at
family?
that. Well, just for like my sisters and my dad and I, like, just the 5 of us.
Too bad.
Yeah, so just the 5 of us, so I'm excited.
Where does she want to?
She said she's been looking Cabo, Key West, I don't know why Key West, but she says it's beautiful down there.
It is.
And then she looked in the Bahamas and Kirks and the Caicos. So a lot of places are already booked up.
Yeah.
She's like, we may have to do this, not this year, but next year.
Yeah.
So, for Christmas.
They're
She's-
already booked up?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
We wanted to go
Wow.
to this all-inclusive resort in the Kirks and the Caicos, and they're booked till 2016 for the
Holy
week of
crap.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Because it was great, like, it was a great deal. She called me, she's like, look at this, I'm screenshotting it and sending it to you. And
We
It was
bought
booked.
I never thought we'd do this. We went down the first year with another couple, and we loved this place so much that we ended up buying it's a timeshare, it's a 3-bedroom place down there. And so we started inviting other couples, and every time we invited someone, they ended up getting a timeshare. So
wow.
there's 2 couples have a 2-bedroom, and then the other 2 of us have a 3-bedroom, and then we'll invite, like last year we invited our son and daughter-in-law down for a week, and they just loved it. But we can't use it we can use it 50 weeks a year, but you can't use it, they have a separate deal for Christmas week. And that's the way most of the places are.
Bulk price.
Oh,
That's where they
yeah.
make their money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, it's amazing.
Evidently, everybody wants to get away from their family, not just my mom. That's what I told her.
But you
She's
might
like, I'm
be-
sick of cooking.
But you might be able to do something
Yeah.
in the Keys.
Yeah, that's what she said. She said Key West is looking more like it, so which is fine.
Have you been to Key West?
No, I've never been to Key West. So,
It's interesting.
yeah, that's what I've heard.
We went to a place last year. A friend of ours, long story, but he ended up with a partial ownership in a resort down in the Keys. It's about halfway down. It's a place called Hawks Cay. And it's a nice family place. But we drove down to Key West and spent a day and an evening there. It's a wild place.
Yeah.